And then you lay back, and they do the procedure, and an IUD can stay in you for 8 years. So after they're done, the nurse hands you a sticker with a date on it of 8 years from that day, so you know when to replace it. So I just pop that on my windshield next to my oil change sticker. Where else am I gonna put that thing? I got one that says Valvoline, one that says Volvoline. I just look at just keep an eye.
No, here's how dating apps work. If you don't know, here's how dating apps work. You make a profile, everyone else makes a profile, and if you're both interested, the app will match you. And then the women will just never talk to you at all. That's how that works. The way we collected baseball cards as young men is the way grown women are collecting matches on dating apps. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to date you. They just want to go, look at all these guys I could have. It's trash. If the women do talk to you, they're very mean to you about your opening line. I don't know why it's so important to them. It's just an opening line. But like literally, like I'll get like a match, and then I'll write like, hey, I saw you had a dog on your profile. I'm obsessed with dogs. What's your dog's name? And they're like, real original, blocked. I'm like, what the fuck? Thought that was pretty good, you know? I was like, all right, well, maybe I tried too hard. Maybe I should play it cool, you know? So I'll get like another match. I'll just write like, sup. And she's like, ooh, that must have took a lot of effort. Blocked. I'm like, God damn it.
I like a very specific kind of restaurant. I'm a 39-year-old elder millennial from Portland, Oregon. I only like restaurants that proudly advertise themselves as being farm to table. Oh, yeah. Which is a very silly thing for a restaurant to say. Because that's where they grow food. And that's what you eat it off of. At every restaurant. Arby's is a farm-to-table restaurant. It's a gross farm, and the table is bolted to the wall, but it's farm-to-table all the same. When I say farm-to-table, I mean something very specific, okay? I mean a farm that is owned by a nice lesbian couple who left finance and bought a goat. And when I say table, I mean like a door that used to be on a very old church that they've taken down and kind of fashioned into a banquet-style seating arrangement where you sit around it with 6 other couples who you don't know. You didn't come with them. And you all talk about the same 3 A24 movies all night. Yeah. When I go to a restaurant, I want the drinks and the light bulbs to be in mason jars. Do you understand me? I like restaurants that have an ampersand in the middle of their name. They cannot spell out the word and. It has to be a cutesy little ampersand, right? It has to be like Turkey and the Wolf. Or the Girl in the Coat. I would eat at Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Every time I go to a restaurant I like, the server comes over and they say the exact same thing. They say, have you dined with us before? Because we do things a little bit different. Never once has it been different. Never once has the server been, have you dined with us before? Because we do things a little bit different. Now take your shirt off and get in the kitchen. You're making me dinner. Never. I've never ordered the onion ring tower that comes out on a man's erect penis, right? Like, and he stands there while you eat them, and if he goes soft before you finish, they fall on the floor. That's on you. Never. I've never ordered the charcuterie board and it comes out, and so does Marina Abramovich. You know, she like sits across from you. It makes hard emotional eye contact the entire time you're eating.
It's so crazy now being a boy mom. Because the microscope is on us, man. We are underneath such a microscope, everything we do. And I'm fine with it, because I think if we change the game, we could really change how things work out in the world. I really do. I don't mind it. You know what I mean? And my girlfriends were on it right away. The second they found out that I was having a little boy, they were like, it's all up to you. You gotta fight the patriarchy. And I was like, can I teach him the alphabet first? I can. I just gotta be real intentional with it, you know what I mean? Like, A is for accountability, B is for bodily autonomy, and C is for consent. Repeat it to mommy.
That's why I don't like Joe Rogan. He's transphobic. I hate Joe Rogan. And I know a lot of you look like dedicated listeners up front, but I hate Joe Rogan. I think he's a danger to society. I do. I really do. He's always spreading misinformation. I hate him. The only way I would even remotely consider being on his podcast is if he asked me. Other than that, it ain't fucking happening. I'm sorry. For me to abandon my morals, either him or someone on his staff would have to respond to my many emails begging to get on. Otherwise, he can go fuck himself.
I think every race of people is better together than they are apart. And if you don't believe me, look at the results of every single Olympics. Why do you think the U.S. wins more medals than any other country? We're using other people's people. We're cheating. No one holds us accountable.
I walked past some Girl Scouts on the street here yesterday with a table out selling cookies. Didn't that used to be like 1 month a year in the spring? Now it's like year-round, everywhere. These little whores, they are in your face selling those dried-out, overpriced shit cookies. And you buy them, right? You buy them. Makes you feel good. You're helping out the girls. And then you're walking back to your car with a big armful of Do-si-dos and Thin Mints. And then a black teenager walks up to you with a box full of Snickers bars. Excuse me, sir, will you help support my basketball team? And you're like, that's a fucking scam. That's bullshit. There's no basketball team. Then you see the Girl Scout getting into her dad's BMW with a fistful of cash. We fucked him again, Dad! We fucked him again! Look, don't get me wrong. I would support the Girl Scouts. I really would. But isn't the whole point of scouting that you're going to make things with your own hands? Isn't the idea? There's no little girls making those cookies with their own hands. Well, not American girls. Somewhere there are little girls in a windowless factory making those cookies with their little Chinese hands. And I had my own brush with erectile dysfunction recently. How many guys? Erectile dysfunction. Just me. Okay, fair enough. $2 billion ad campaign, all directed at me, Greg Fitzsimmons. I'll buy that. The Longhorns, right? The Longhorns, baby. So I'll tell you what happened to me, just in case it happens to one of you studs down the road. I'm having sex with my wife. It's going great. Feeling powerful. And all of a sudden, I start to kind of lose pressure. It was like a tire with a slow leak in it. Just... So I start fucking faster, and it was like... And then it just pops out, just out. And I panic. I grab the base and I squeeze it. I'm trying to shove it back in again. It's just folding in half. There's no penetration. I get my thumb underneath. I'm trying to shoehorn it back in again. And that's when my wife looks down. She sees me going like this. She looks at me and goes like that. And then I don't know what I was thinking, but I just looked at her and I go, it's not your fault. She goes, who said it was, pussy? You got the limp dick. Nothing wrong with this vagina. 2 C-sections. Nice. No, she doesn't talk like that. She would never say that. So I figured I'll go to the doctor. I go to the doctor, and I'm waiting in the office, and I got to fill out the form. And on the form it goes, in case of emergency, who should we notify? And I'm like, fucking you. Is there a better doctor? Because you can't handle a checkup? I'll go to that guy. And so I go into the doctor, and I'm at that age now where the doctor puts his finger in my ass, which is weird because it was a dentist. And no, it's weird because I'm fine with it. Like, I don't have a problem with the doctor doing that. But they always feel like they got to make a joke first before they, like, to lighten the mood. They're going to give me a little humor. Here's the thing. I'm a comedian. Don't tell me a joke. Okay? You don't tell me a joke, and then afterwards, I won't stuff my finger up your ass. How about that? So sure enough, the guy goes, all right, turn around. I got the gown on. It opens in the back. He goes, lean on the table, spread your legs. Pretend like you're getting arrested. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. I turn around. He's wearing a full policeman's uniform. I'm like... So now he puts on a glove. He opens up a bottle of KY jelly, dunks his finger, pulls up a big dripping glop of KY. I'm just looking at the guy like, dude, how tight do you think my asshole is at this point? You could pretty much... That would have gotten you in. So he sticks it in, which I was ready for. But what I wasn't prepared for was this move. He goes like this. And the worst thing was, it felt amazing. There was a tingling sensation that went through my taint, into my balls, and I went from going, oh, to, oh! And then I was sad for like 2 days. I was sullen.
I think in everybody's relationship there was tension during the pandemic. Like if you fought with your partner during the pandemic, like it's not about how much you love them. That's too many hours with one person. Because we all have flaws. None of us are perfect. We shouldn't look for perfection in our partners. I think we should understand that everybody has flaws. It's not about your partner being perfect, but it's about how you handle those imperfections you have in each other, along with each other. And I think that was the biggest issue. Nobody was prepared to be around their partner 24/7, uninterrupted. Look, my husband's biggest thing is he's a talker, which is never said as a compliment. That is a warning every time. Like, hey, he's a talker. Go with God. And people underestimate it all the time because they don't understand he's the type of talker that doesn't need anyone else for the conversation. Do you know these people? You know how many times I've been at home like, did I leave a podcast on? Like, who's bringing up random topics? And then during the pandemic, he started doing this new thing that he'd never done before where he just announced things he was doing around the house. I'd be in the living room and I'd hear, babe, I made space for the ketchup in the refrigerator. And I'd be like, good job, man. Because my therapist said be more encouraging, you know what I mean? So I was like, who's killing it in the kitchen? I didn't grow up with positive reinforcement, so I don't know how to be encouraging without sounding like I'm talking to a pet, like, who's a good husband? Who's a good husband? Off the couch, who's a good husband? Of course we fought, of course we bumped heads, of course we got on each other's nerves. Like I'm definitely the kind of person, like he has to put up with my flaws too. And I'm definitely the kind of person that, I think the hardest thing he has to put up with is the fact that my mood depends on your tone. You don't have to tell me. I know it's toxic. I'm aware. I'm working on it. It's not fun, you know what I mean? To be the kind of person that's always like, what'd you say? And at this point, we've established that when a woman says, what'd you say? She's not asking you to repeat what you said. She is asking you to rethink what you said. It's not fun to have somebody walking on eggshells like that, you know what I mean? Like, what'd you say? Good morning? Please say I did it right. We were bound to bump heads, man, but we're also both in therapy. And I don't know if you've ever fought with a healthy person. but it's annoying. Because we'd get into these big blow-up fights, right? Where we would just yell at each other, and then I'd storm out, right? And I'd have time to process. And I'd come back in, and I'd be like, ugh. I realize my reaction to the previous situation is based on trauma from a former relationship that I shouldn't bring into this current space. Don't get too excited, baby girl. And then my husband would come in, and he'd be like, ugh. I want you to know that I hear you, and I see you. I was like, I hate us. I don't want to be us, I want to jump us. I don't like us. I come from a family where you flip a table to make a point, you know what I'm saying? Like, this feels too healthy, you know what I'm saying? And I got a temper on me. I'm not proud of it, but it's something I know about myself. Right? Like, I got one of those tempers where I'll get real mad, real bad, real fast. Yeah. And then 5 seconds later, I'm like, we're cool. They'll be like, Gina, you burned down the house. Okay, but I'm a new woman now. Yes, I burned down the house, but I also called the fire department. And in therapy, they call that growth. So, how about you respect my journey? It ain't easy. I remember our biggest fight was also, coincidentally, our dumbest fight. Yeah. It was over socks. Yeah, we had the sock fight. He kept leaving his socks everywhere. And in my head, I was like, I know that you know that we have a laundry basket. What is with all this passive-aggressive sock behavior? I'm in therapy, so I could therapize. And therapy did help me figure out how I could have stopped this fight from happening in the first place. Because I did something so typical in relationships, such a typical thing, because what I did was I didn't speak up right away. I let it build, I let it fester. Such a common thing. And I'll tell you why that happens. I can only speak to my relationships with men, but I'll tell you why that happens, guys. The reason why we don't speak up right away is because we have such faith. You already know. We have such faith in your ability to tell when we are upset. We truly believe you're gonna get all of our little subtle hints. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Every woman in here can tell you when her partner is upset. Every woman in here. We always know. We always know, man. I know. I can tell by the way he breathes. So we always think he's gonna know. He's gonna know. Nope. Nope. And here's the thing. There's a reason why this happens. There's a reason why this happens, and it's not based on intelligence. It's about how we think and navigate through the world. The fact is, as a woman, I have to think 10 steps ahead for my own safety. I can't just walk out the door. I have to figure out where am I going, what time is it, how am I getting back, who am I going with, is it even safe for me to go there in the first place? These are the things we have to think about when we're navigating the world. Men don't have to think that far ahead. You don't have to think in the future. You can think in the now, what's happening now, what's in front of me now. If at any point I'm mad at my husband, yeah. If at any point I am angry at my husband and I were to go into his brain, I feel like it would just be like doo dee dee da da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da. This is a great day, man. Da 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 da. She looks weird. Da da ba da ba da ba ba. I wonder who made her mad, man. I wasn't even here. Yeah-da-da-da, yeah-da-da-da. No clue. He had no idea we were even in a fight. Have you ever had somebody sleep comfortably next to you? When you are fuming mad at them? Whew. That's a tough one. Because he was like, And I was just up like, I've made you too comfortable. I let it fester, I let it build, and then one day I woke up and I was like, today's the day. You know when you feel the rage rising in your body before your feet touch the floor? I was like, somebody gonna get this rage. And I remember I woke up, I was putting my son in his playpen. It was like 6 a.m. And I saw the Nike check from the corner of my eye. And if you've ever dealt with any kind of anger issues, then you know that at this point, I had to give myself a little pep talk. I was like, don't do nothing crazy. Don't do nothing crazy. I had to become my own therapist, man. I was like, come on, you're journaling. You're meditating. You watch that one Brene Brown video. You can do this. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna take that sock and I'm gonna cut it up into tiny little pieces. And I'm gonna do that for every sock I find until he has no socks. And then one day he will wake up and he will go, where are my socks? And I will press a button and all of the sock confetti will fall from the ceiling. And I will go, ta-da! And then I will stab him because I will have snapped. All you hear in the background is my son going, wipe your fingerprints off the knife, Mommy!
I did have one day job out of college. I worked for 6 months at a day program, which is basically a daycare for adults with severe mental and physical disabilities. And, I really have had so much help in my life. So my thought was like, let me go back in the world and give some of that back. And I worked there for 6 months, and that is because I couldn't take anymore. And now let's just be clear about the situation. It had nothing to do with the people that came in for the services. The problem is, every morning they would come into the facility on the short bus. And I gotta tell you, there was nothing that I could do to convince the driver that I worked there. I go, all right, man, thanks, I got it from here. Okay, buddy. Who's a good helper? Good helper, you're a good helper. Why don't you go inside, go get a person. I'm like, I'll break your fucking wrist, sir. All my new coworkers just looking out the window, laughing their ass off. Send them out again, send them out again. 6 months of that shit. I snapped one morning. I picked up a helmet and I put it on and I got on the dude's bus. I was like, take me home, motherfucker. I'm done here, motherfucker. I'm done. And now I do comedy. Career move. This has been really weird for me. I have a buddy that I've known my entire life we actually went to preschool together. And I'll just tell you this up front about the guy. He is, he's able-bodied. And like, you know, I'm fine with that. I'm cool. I mean, it's cool. I'm just, you know, early on I took him under my wing and show him the ways of the world, and you know. And well, here's the thing: is that right before the pandemic, he got married, and that was really exciting. I got to be the best man, and then he and his wife, they then had their first baby. Again, very exciting. But then more recently, their son was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. So it's just like interesting and weird because this guy that I've known my whole life is now coming to me asking me all these questions. And I'm like, no. I didn't sleep with your wife. Yeah, we just fucked around. But if he's got hair like this, get him checked.
It's cool being a celebrity. I hang out with other celebrities. One time I was right here in this comedy club, but this woman came up to me. I swear this is real life. She goes, "Hey Taylor, that's so cool. You're on America's Got Talent. I was also on a reality show." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. What show were you on?" And she goes, "Hoarders." I don't know if you're familiar with the TV program Hoarders, but it's a show about filthy, disgusting people who you prefer mention to you that they were on Hoarders before you shake their hands with your hands. I'll be honest though, as disgusted as I was also impressed. Equally. Do you know how disgusting you have to be invited to be on Hoarders? Like, it's not like, you know, remember the end of Double Dare? When it's like, if you want to be on Double Dare, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to... They don't provide this on Hoarders. They find you, okay? They hear about you. They smell about you. They find you. This woman was probably sitting in her house one day. Then she heard her phone ring. She heard like the muffled phone ring noise, you know? And then she went to where her phone usually is, and then her 8 cats were on the phone. They weren't like on the phone like, meow, 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 how are you? I'm a cat on a telephone. That's not what I meant. That's funny though. That's not what I meant. Sorry, I got it, but that's not what I meant. You know, she went to, and her 8 cat, they were all on the phone, you know. She's like, come on guys, get off the phone. We got 2 rings left, come on. Come on, why aren't you moving? And then she's like, oh yeah, they died 3 years ago, I forgot. Because I'm gross and weird, you know? I'm disgusting and weird, you know? So then she scooped off all her dead cats. You know? And she was like, hello? And the guy's like, hi, this is Josh, the producer of Hoarders, the show where we take filthy, disgusting people and we showcase them for the whole world to see how filthy and disgusting they are. Is Barbara available? And she's like, speaking? And he's like, Barbara, I'm so glad we connected. I've been trying to call you for 6 months. You never answered the phone. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I have my dead cats. They were on the phone. They were like on the phone like, meow, meow, I'm a ghost cat. I'm in heaven. We go to heaven too. It's not just dogs. I'm a cat on the phone that's dead. I'm a ghost cat. But don't worry. They're in the trash now. It's not going to be a problem. And he's like, no, put them back. We'll use it for the show. We love it. This is great. I'm so glad we connected. I understand you've been collecting your toenails since 1972. And you categorize them by color. This made us so happy. We'd love to have you star in the next episode of Hoarders. Here's how the contract works. It'll air for the next 100 years. You'll be paid $0. Everyone you know and love will disown you. And she's like, go on. You get the joke. Okay, You get the joke.
I left Memphis after that. I left Memphis. I went back to Portland for a little bit. Then I went to Orlando. Orlando's pretty cool. Orlando was pretty cool. I got a dog when I was in Orlando. Anybody? Yeah, I had a dog. Guess what kind of dog I had? A golden retriever? Nope, that wasn't it. A lab? Nope. Huh? You guys are bad. Who said pit bull? Racist. No, I'm joking. It wasn't a pit. It wasn't. You guys, it was a Chihuahua. You guys were way off. It was a Chihuahua. He was a no. Stop guessing. You're wrong. I told you the answer. That's like if I was like in class and I was like C. You're like, I'm gonna try B. Let me get. I told you. So it was a Chihuahua. He's a Chihuahua Yorkie. He was super cute, man. He was super. Yep. He was. His name was Tank. He was 12 pounds. And the way I got him was this girl. She was like, hey, you want a dog? I was like, this is my chance. And it wasn't. She just left me. Single parent father. You know? I used to call him my son. I'm like, this is like my son. Then one day he started humping my leg. And I was like, never mind. You cannot be my son and my baby daddy. So I just stopped calling him my son. He'd be on the other side of the living room getting started. Like, oh, snap. There's some new jeans, preacher? I ain't never seen no jeans like that in my life. Like, no, yes, they're new jeans, because you keep ruining them. So, but he was super cute, man. He was adorable. Everybody wanted to pet him. You know, one time I was walking him in my neighborhood, and this homeless dude, I didn't know he was homeless. He was on the cover. But he walks up, and he goes, that's a good-looking dog right there. I'm like, yeah, his name is Tank. He goes, yeah. I'm like, whoa. Don't pet him. He doesn't like new people. If it's the new person tries to pet him, he's gonna bite you. He's like, no, trust me. I'm good with dogs. I said, I don't care how good you are with dogs, all right? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. That's my, she like, I like this 4D experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and yell out my part of the joke. But you're right. I mean, when I was writing the joke, I don't remember putting you in it, but I appreciate you ad-libbing right there. Your extra loud self. I was like, who gave you a microphone? I don't even understand. You the same one that knocked someone's iPhone down, but your booty like, sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom. That ain't your dog. All right. So dogs have personalities like humans. You can't go up to a human like, hey, that's a good-looking human right there. I don't really like people. No, trust me. I'm good with people. You can't do that. He tries to pet him anyway. Bro, oh my gosh, your dog bit me. I said, I'm so sorry. I was trying to warn you. He doesn't like new people. He was like, I can't believe your dog bit me. I said, I'm sorry. He was like, give me $10. I was like, what? He's like, your dog bit me, give me $10. He said it in a way like, everybody knows if the dog bites you, it's $10. He was so confident. I was like, yeah, I forgot about that rule. I just gave him $10. He was like, thank you, brother. God bless. He just walks off. I was like, this man scammed me for $10? There's better ways to make money besides getting bit by dogs $10 at a time. How was work, baby? It was great. I made $115. 15? I didn't get fully bit by the last one. They gave me $5. He was so cute. People didn't think it was my dog. One lady thought I stole him. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what race she was because it doesn't matter that she was white. And she walked up to me, she was like, is that the dog that went missing yesterday? And I was like, no, it's my dog. She goes, are you sure? And I was like, yep, why would I steal the dog and lie about it, then be like the second time, you know what? I was lying, I did. I stole the dog and walked it in the same neighborhood I just stole it from. That's like robbing a bank. Put all the money in the bag. That's right. And let me open the savings real quick, all right? Here's my birth certificate. Y'all got a rewards program? I'm trying to build my credit up. If you guys can do that real quick. He's my dog. She goes, I'm sorry, he's so cute. And I'm like, I get it. He's like, he's super cute. Super cute, I get it. You want to pet him? Get her, Tank. He's my secret weapon. He was a secret weapon. He was so cool. I loved the man. Like people, like I remember people talking about dogs. Like this is my best friend, and I'm like, that's because you don't have any friends, you know. But I used to. He was just annoying at first. Like I had to pay $500 for him to stay at my apartment complex. I didn't pay it. I just convinced the apartment complex I was the one barking. But he was, you know. He was expensive, and he was just, you know, but then he became like my best friend for real. And I knew he was my best friend, you know, one day when I was like, all my roommates were gone, I waited till they were gone because I was having like a bad day, and I started ugly crying, which is the only way to cry. No one looks sexy crying, you know. And if you think someone looks sexy crying, then you need help because that's weird. Very weird. If you at a funeral, yeah, get it out. Look at that face. Don't wipe it. Yeah, look at that face, so wet. I like them cheeks. That's weird, you know. So I was crying, and I remember Tank, he ran over, and he got on his hind legs, and he started licking my tears. And yeah, it worked. I just stopped crying immediately, and it works. Any girl I've ever dated after that, if they start crying, I lick their tears. They just stop. I can't believe I'm in there, right? They're not happy. They're kind of confused, but they stop. They're like, "Are you licking my face right now?" You stop though. I just got fired. But you look, come on now. You stop. So I win. And yeah, I remember I was kind of sad because everything I did in Orlando, it was tailored towards comedy. Any job I had, any relationship, I always did it for comedy. And I was like, I'm not gonna make it as a comedian in Orlando, Florida. So I had to move to LA. So I saved up a bunch of money, and no matter how much money I saved up, LA's expensive. I wasn't gonna be able to take Tank initially. So I had to sit Tank down like a psycho, because that's what you do when you have a dog. You know what I mean? You kind of just talk to them like a human when you have them too long. And I was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go save a bunch of money for like a couple months. I'm gonna ship you out, then you can get your own bed, even though he keep jumping in mine. And you know, the whole time I'm talking to him, he like, when we going outside? You know, like he doesn't know. I can leave for 10 minutes and Tank's like, I thought you were dead, right? So, I talked to him and I was like, it was kind of sad because I was like, he doesn't realize I'm leaving for 2 months, and I broke down, started sexy crying, and I did. I knew it was sexy because he started humping my leg again, and I let him get it out. I was like, this is the last time. Get it out, my child. Go ahead. And I moved to LA in 2016, and I wasn't like homeless, but I was flirting with it. You know, I was like, what's your name, homeless? You know, and I found a place on Craigslist, Park La Brea, mistake, and I moved in. I had 5 roommates, 6 dudes in a 2-bedroom. One dude slept in his own room. Another guy in the hallway, another guy in the fridge or something. Another guy in the closet, another guy out the closet. That was my roommate. And this dude was an alcoholic, man. We got in a fight one day because he was coming home drunk all the time. He kept waking me up, and then I was fed up. 3 o'clock in the morning, he's drunk, coming in, talking on the phone, and I'm like, hey, man, take that outside. He throws his phone down. He's like, what you gonna do about it, man? Huh? What you gonna do about it? You ain't gonna do nothing about it. And I said, you don't wanna find out what I'm gonna do. He gets in my face, he's like, do something about it. And I was like 15 pounds bigger than I am now. I was jacked. And Jill went up the hill to get some more protein, baby. And I started choking this dude immediately, and I was squeezing his neck. And I remember him not fighting it. And I was like, that's kind of weird because I'm squeezing hard. And I remember him not fighting it, and I remember him going, yes, daddy. And I was like, whoa, hey. I was like, you tricked me, man. This is not a reward. I'm angry right now. And so I stopped choking him. I threw him out the house like Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was like, West Philadelphia, born and raised. And I locked the door. He started banging on the door. Let me back in. I was like, psych, I am not letting you back in. The cops come to my apartment so fast. I was like, are we neighbors? Because I don't remember meeting you when I was looking for sugar. And I remember one of the cops walks over to my roommate, goes, hey, what's going on? And my roommate was like, I was sleeping. He woke me up, threw me outside. And I was like, he lied. Cop comes inside, goes, hey, so your boyfriend's saying that... I said, that's not my boyfriend. He's like, I don't care why y'all broke up. That's not my business. Trying to figure out why you threw him outside. I said, I threw him outside because he's clearly drunk. He came in and attacked me. I lied. Attacked me. So I put him outside. Cop goes, all right, goes back to my roommate and goes, hey, so your ex-boyfriend's saying that you attacked him first. And my roommate was like, what? He was choking me. Then the cop was like, I don't need to know about y'all sex life. Stop telling me your business. And I'm dying laughing. Not out loud, because I don't want to go to jail, so I'm doing the quiet laugh. You know what I mean? You know that quiet laugh where you like, you know that laugh where you're like, thank God my best friend ain't next to me to hit me with that one of them laughs, right? And I was doing a great job holding it in. I was like, calm down. And I remember the cop being fed up. He goes, listen, y'all could either make up or both of y'all go to jail. And my roommate was so drunk, he goes, well, I guess we going to jail. And I was like, no, we're not. I can't go to jail. I smile too much. I got a big booty. That's a bad combination. And I remember the cop, he came inside and he goes, he goes, all right, we're cutting this out. So he goes, he's saying he wants to go to jail. So if he wants to go to jail, I'm gonna arrest both of y'all. All right, you wanna maybe talk to him for a second? And I was like, yeah. Let me talk to him because he's mad right now and I'm not trying to go to jail. So let me talk to him. Babe! What do you mean jail? And I remember the cop closing the door. He goes, listen, y'all are clearly in an abusive relationship. All right? And I was like, I know he said he gonna change, but he never do. I can't do this, okay? I wasn't even gay at first. He comped on me. I didn't know that's how it works. And I remember, you know, everyone woos out, we calmed down, we stopped by. And then the people downstairs, they heard us fighting. They were like, oh, no one's supposed to be in that apartment. So the people we were paying off of Craigslist, it wasn't their apartment complex. So we just giving someone money that wasn't their apartment. So they were like, you need to get out of here in 24 hours or you're going to jail for real. And so then I was homeless for real. And I wasn't like homeless. You know, some people are like, I'm homeless, but then they live in their car. Not me, you know, I was homeless. And so I remember calling up my roommate from back in Florida and I was like, hey, so, you know, I got kicked out. So I'm gonna need you to, I need you to hold Tank for like maybe one more month. And then they were like, don't worry about it. You know, we gave Tank to a shelter. I said, what? He goes, yeah, we gave Tank to a shelter. He was barking a lot. He wasn't supposed to be there. And then he bit somebody. So we gave him to a shelter. And I was like, well, why didn't you tell me? You should have told me before you gave my dog away. And they're like, you're homeless. What are you gonna do? That is kind of true though. I wanted to be mad, but like, how many times you see a homeless person with a dog? You never look at the dog like, man, that dog should have never dropped out of college. You never look at that. And I was like, you know, I thought about it, and I was like, he's the cutest dog ever. I mean, ever. So he definitely got adopted. And I'm never gonna be homeless again, and it works out. So, but I do to that store, and people ask, you know, it's sad, and people ask me all the time, they're like, hey, like, are you still sad about that? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sad. I'd be lying if I said I didn't cry some nights. I'm probably gonna cry tonight, if I'm being honest. I am. I know you're waiting on something funny, but I do want to just say, I'm gonna cry. So if anybody wants to lick my tears.